I'm so angry. I'm mad. I'm so pissed off. I'm so angry. I don't care who I have to hurt. I'm just so angry. Everybody's gonna pay. I'm so mad. I'm so pissed off. I'm so angry. That's how a lot of people feel. They feel angry. They feel pissed off. But at the same time, they're saying, I'm fine. Nothing's going on. Nothing serious is going on. I'm just fine. I'm blissed out, man. I'm blissed out. Oh. Meanwhile, inside, they're like, I hate Trump. I hate Biden. I hate cover-ups. I hate Epstein. I hate kings. I hate trans people. I hate straight people. I hate all that hatred. Well, if you know somebody like that, they cannot be trusted and they are not safe. If you are like that, you cannot be trusted. You can't trust yourself like that. When you're angry, you cannot trust yourself. Angry people cannot be trusted. Now, this episode of the Shaman Patrick Show will explore unconscious anger, unconscious resentments. If you say you're not angry before fully exploring all of the places where you might be stuck or anger might be hiding out, you're lying. You're wrong. Everybody's angry. Everybody's pissed off. Have you looked around at the world? There's a lot worth being pissed off about. So if you are willing to admit that you're angry about something, that is the first brick. That's the first pull of that Jenga tower. So today, let's get a little pissed off, but also realize that if we're angry, if we're around other angry people, we can't trust them and we can't even trust themselves. This is going to be a fun episode of the Shaman Patrick Show. Are you ready? Let's go. We're going to start today with a little bit of a story time. You know, I didn't know I was angry until I knew I was angry. I didn't know I was a liar until I knew I was a liar. I was so divorced from who I really was and what I felt through years of drinking, through years of addiction, through years of operating out of a false self. So if you know that most people operate out of their false self until they're given an opportunity to act out of their true self. But today we're just going to say that most people are unconscious. Most people are just not unconscious. They are dangerously unconscious. And if you're watching this video, you're probably not unconscious. You're probably not. You're probably working towards becoming more conscious. And so one of the things that you're going to want to do is to explore your unconscious anger. Explore your anger, feel your anger. Hey, do you have headaches? Do you have digestive disorders? Do you have back pain? Do you have any type of body pain whatsoever? It's ego. Yo, okay, wait. I know, I can hear that. Thank you. You're saying, but Patrick, isn't anger from the ego? Yeah, it is. So yeah, there's one way of dealing with your anger is working on your ego issues, and that anger will come up naturally. That's one way. But what if you're one of those people who still don't understand ego issues? You still don't understand this at all. Usually one of the ways that you will finally see the ego is through your anger or through someone else's anger. So anger comes from the ego, but at the same time, it has a corrosive effect towards it. Like an angry person will feed their ego on a revolving loop until it does something that actually causes them to break. If they're so angry, they actually hurt other people. If they're so angry, they actually hurt themselves. Sometimes when people realize that they're hurting themselves through their anger or hurting other people through their anger, they'll stop. They'll stop. But if you don't know that you are angry about some things, that's okay too. I think I'm angry about 4 or 5 more things. I think I've boiled it down to these 5 things that I'm still angry at. But an angry person who knows they're angry can probably be trusted. And a person who knows they're angry about certain things. Like I've had people tell me this before. They're like, well, Patrick, I'm still too angry to talk to you right now. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I get it. Are they angry at me or are they angry at something else? Be angry, be upset. but you're going to have to learn to forgive people. You're going to have to learn. You know, in the last video, I talked about how to escape from a narcissistic family. If you want to see that video, you could go right here. There you go, right over there. But if you're ready to forgive that narcissistic family that you escaped from, let's go. I was going to include this in that video, but it would have been a 4-hour video. So let's go on to this one. Let's get into this presentation. Angry people are not safe. Angry people cannot be trusted, not because they're evil, but because they're unstable. Rage is a spiritual virus. If someone has unresolved anger, they're a walking time bomb with a countdown you can't see. Hang around long enough and guess what? Boom, you're next. If you're angry, you're the one who can't be trusted. That includes your anger at others and your anger at yourself. A pissed off person is unpredictable, reactive, and often cruel. They lie to themselves. They lie to others. They will rationalize betrayal and pretend it's justice. You can't build anything real on that foundation. Not love, not friendship, not even a decent group chat. Angry people are not safe. Get it through your head. You're not safe when you're angry. You know, one of the reasons why I went into a hermit mode is I realized, man, I'm pissed off about some things. I'm around some pissed off people. Sometimes if a person is angry and they betray you, they will justify that betrayal by more pain. I'm just like, I get out of that shit now. Like, I feel like I've gotten out of the worst of it and never again. Like, I'm just like, I know angry people are not safe. I cannot be in a close personal relationship with somebody who is angry. They're not safe. They can't be trusted. An angry person will eventually fuck you over. So we may want to be compassionate towards angry people. We want to be like that, but it's like hanging out with Antifa. It's like hanging out with terrorists, you know, very angry, violent people. Anger can lead to violence. So if you want to get punched in the face at some point, hang out with an angry person. So where does the anger come from? Spoilers, it's as old as shit. Anger is just grief in a leather jacket. It's hurt that got tired of crying. It usually starts in childhood, like all good dysfunctions do, when your needs weren't met, your boundaries were ignored, and your soul got stomped on by people who called it parenting. Unconscious grievances are the root. Resentments that never got aired out. An angry person has a corrupted heart, like spiritual malware running in the background 24/7, draining all your peace and clarity. So this reminds me of those advertisements that they had in the 80s, I believe. But it would show, you know, the things that are stealing your energy in your home, like computers and like things that don't turn off, and they just steal energy and they cost you money. Well, unconscious anger is like that. It steals your energy, it takes your money, and it takes your time, and you should want to deal with it. You should want to deal with your unconscious anger. You should. Sometimes I tell people that they have an unconscious resentment or unconscious anger, and they're like, I don't have any unconscious anger. So I don't say that to people unless I recognize that they have some unconscious anger or unconscious resentments. I just don't. I don't say things to people like that. It's like I don't encourage people to go to a 12-step program unless they're an alcoholic. I don't do these things. I don't tell people stuff like that. I'm not trying to get one over on people, but many people deal with unconscious anger, and you could tell by the symptoms that they have going on in their life. I'm happy to report that all the anger I have is very much conscious. A lot of my digestive issues have to deal with unconscious anger, aka ego issues. But you got to forgive to get rid of this unconscious anger. You have to get rid of this unconscious anger through forgiveness. That's usually how it will go. For some of you, forgiveness might be a bridge too far for some things, but let's explore this. Let's talk about the F word, not that one, forgiveness. You don't do it because they deserve it. You do it because you do. If you don't forgive your parents, and yes, it's your parents, don't even pretend it's not, that anger festers and you carry their sickness like a cursed family heirloom. But here's the mind fuck. They probably won't even admit what they did. Weak parents deny everything. They'll gaslight you like their retirement depends on it. That never happened. You're being dramatic. I was doing my best. Cool. So were we. Doesn't mean we didn't fuck up. Parents who deny what they did keep children sick, addicted, in pain and suffering. You know, as you saw in our last video about the escaping from a narcissistic family. Narcissistic families cause so much shit in this world. If you escape from that, if you get away from that, you're going to have to forgive them. Otherwise, you're going to carry that toxic poison right along with you out into the world. Now, in the next segment, we're going to watch some advice from one of my favorite YouTube creators, Jesse Lee Peterson, and his advice. You know, I discovered Jesse by watching things I disagree with. Like initially, I disagreed a lot with what Jesse was saying. But the more I listened to him, I said, this guy is really, really wise. He's a really wise, elder man. And so let's listen to him and what he has to say now. This is from a video titled, My Advice, Let Go of Anger, from Jesse Lee Peterson's YouTube channel. I'm going to put my headphones in and let's watch this video together.
If you were to take any advice from me at all, there would be one that I would highly recommend that you take. Everything else you can let go to the wayside. But if there's one you would take advice from me, I would advise you to let go of anger. And the way you let it go is go and forgive your parents. Most of the time, it starts at home first. And at home,
I'm gonna interrupt him here. Understanding this was a huge crux for me in forgiving Merrick's father, forgiving Merrick's parents, and in forgiving his parents. You know, because I worked on my parents. Like, I've forgiven my parents. I thought that's all I had to do. But, you know, his father and they became such a part of my life. I came to love them like I loved my own parents. And I have a lot of unconscious anger. I had a lot of unconscious anger towards them. You know, they're still kind of asleep. They're still kind of unconscious. I encourage them to become just a little bit more conscious. But I had some anger towards Merrick's family for the things that they did. And I realized that that I'm going to have to forgive his parents to blaze the trail. And I listened to Jesse Peterson. And at first I rejected that. I rejected the notion that what he was saying was true, that it didn't start in the home, that I've already forgiven my parents. But I realized I had to forgive Merrick's parents as well.
Most of the time is with the mother or grandmother, whatever woman's in charge of your life. And the reason for that is that it's not in the nature of the woman to raise children alone. It's in the nature of the father. And the woman is there to help raise the kids. But
now that I can see that pissing people off. That it's not in the nature of the woman to raise the children on her own. I bet there's many women out there that would say, I agree. Who wants to be a single mother? That seems like a whole lot of work, right? Who wants to raise the kids on your own? And so I'm going to get into this later in the presentation, but just listen and don't reject it outright, because I think we're going to miss an opportunity for true healing if we just reject the message outright.
when she has to do it on her own, even if the father's in the home and he's weak, because most men are weak and women hate weak men. I was talking to a young lady yesterday, counseling with her, and she said that she's married to a guy who is white, but he at one time was married to a woman of color. I think she said the woman was either Asian or Indian or something like that. And that because he's weak, that woman abused him like 90 going north. And he was not able to deal with her. And he's not able to deal with his now wife either. And that's because he has not overcome his mother. And most adults, especially in the black community, most adult men, women, and children resent their mothers and they're yearning for their fathers. So
Now, you can, like, this guy has done a lot of research. He has a whole foundation on helping men restore their masculinity so that they can be better fathers, more involved in their children's life. Isn't this what women wanted? Isn't this what women wanted? They wanted men to be more involved in their life. Look, society is extremely fucked up. So if you can hear anything that I'm saying today, you're going to be head and shoulders above everybody else. You're going to be on the path to healing. You can fight these paradigms as much as you want. You can say that women can do it all themselves. But what woman in her rational mind would want to raise a kid by herself? What woman in her rational mind would push the father out of her life? I don't have the answers to how to fix all of this, okay? But what I do know is recognizing why it is so batshit and crazy and lunacy. Weak men are the biggest problem. Men not able to defend themselves against some of this crazy shit in this world. I didn't say this was pretty, this truth, these uncomfortable truths, but when you face them, things start falling into place. Things start falling into like, oh, yes, a child needs a mother and father. What a concept, right? What a bizarre thing to realize that a child needs to be raised by the father with the assistance of the mother. Men and women need each other. Why would a woman want to do it all herself? To not understand this is the sign of a rotten ass brain rot. It is rot. It is cultural rot. It is spiritual rot to not understand this basic fact about the way that you were raised. I resented my father for not being able to protect me against my mother or from my mother. My mother victimized not only me, but also my father. And as a result, my father was angry at my mother and he victimized us because he was, do you see what a shit show? And this is the way that most families in America are. And now you see what you must do to heal. You must face the truth about it. And people get pissed off when the truth is revealed to them in this way. Why not make it simple? Why not say, oh yeah, I am pissed at my dad for not protecting me from my mother. That made a whole hell of a lot of sense to me. It surely did. Read some comments of these videos. You'll see that this is a very disturbing and ubiquitous problem for many people. It's a generational curse over and over again. Families hurting families. The buck the buck stops here. The buck stops motherfucking here with me. I'm a generational curse breaker, bitch.
So I want to encourage you. I mean, just give it a try. You have nothing to lose. Well, you do have a lot to lose. Hell, you'll come out of that fallen state. But I urge you to forgive. That's all that it takes. You don't have to know the Bible. You don't have to go to church. You don't have to be a Christian. You don't have to be a Jew or Muslim or anything. You just need to recognize that you have this anger. And evidence of the anger being there, if your parents can get on your nerve, if they irritate you or they,
Mm.
you're like, you wish they just shut up. That's resentment. Forgive them. Don't ask for forgiveness. And don't say, forgive me for what I've done. You forgive them, and God will forgive you, and your world will change. You'll come out of that fallen state.
Mm.
And
And focus on that. Like, focus on coming out of that state of that hell on earth, that just living in grievances and resentments. Focus on that aspect of it. Because, the stories of what happened in the past, they don't even really matter all that much. The stuff that happened to you doesn't even matter all that much. But once you know the mechanics of how a family should work, like, nobody's perfect. Nobody expects people to be perfect. But we do expect parents to actually fucking raise us. I don't think that's asking for a whole lot of parents to deal with their own wounds and their own issues before raising their children. And if they raise their children in a way that victimize those children, heal from it. Wake up to it. Just wake up to it. I know that my father was very irritated by my grandmother. I know my mother hated my grandmother. That's what I was raised with. I was raised with that anger. My parents were angry at their parents, and who knows how far back it goes. But if you wake up to this, if you understand this, the buck stops here with you. You forgive your parents. You forgive them for what they did, even if they say they didn't do anything. So I'm going to give you a strategy here. When I was trying to heal from things that happened to me in childhood, my parents denied everything, and they employed other family members to cover that up. So at some point I just had to make it true. So stop debating the gaslights. Stop begging for validation. If you know it happened, make it true in your own internal world. That's your springboard. You can't forgive vague bullshit. Let me say that again. You cannot forgive vague bullshit. You have to remember it in your mind. Your parents are probably going to say that didn't happen. That didn't happen. I remember it differently. But it doesn't matter if they remember it differently. You remember it the way that you remembered it. So you have to make it true. And that's your springboard. You need a landing pad. You don't need a courtroom. You need clarity. That's your closure. Process the betrayal, name the wound, grieve the unmet need. Then you can forgive. Otherwise, you're just burying resentment in a shallow grave. And guess what? It will rise again. Zombie anger every time. I'm going to say every fucking time. Burying those resentments, saying it doesn't bother you. Oh, I'm not mad. I'm not upset. It's just a flesh wound. I'm not hurt. I'm fine. I mean, I've even seen this in Merrick's family where they argue and bicker and fight with each other and they call it love. They're all angry at each other. And I was like, I can't be a part of that. I cannot be a part of that. I got out of this with my own family. I got away from this kind of bickery, angry, hateful shit in my own family. I mean, my family irritated each other. They hated each other. And they were bound by that suffering. So when I say never again, it's very unlikely I'm going to get involved in another family that bickers and fights like that. I mean, I'm probably, if I were to do it all over again, the first time I saw somebody arguing with each other, family members arguing with each other in a very heated, argumentative way, like screaming and yelling at each other. And I did say something about it, and they said, "Oh, that's just how we express love." And I would say at that time, I don't know what that is, but I know that's not love. I know it's not love. I don't yell and bicker and argue with people, not anymore. If I ever really did, I tended to be a shrinking sort of violet type. But after you make it true, you don't expect applause. When you forgive someone, especially a narcissistic or image-obsessed parent, they might hate you for it. That's right. Your forgiveness threatens their delusion of being a perfect parent. How dare you evolve while they're still stuck in denial? They might punish you for healing. That's okay. You don't need their blessing. You need your peace. They're still angry. And as we said, angry people cannot be trusted. It's very clean, isn't it? We like clean things here at the Shaman Patrick Show and in Concrete Shamanism. We like simple. You might want to trust an angry person. You might want to even love an angry person. You might want to have an angry person over for dinner. But when you have an angry person over for dinner, it's probably going to end up being like a bull in a china shop. So you ask me, well, Patrick, what do I do? I live with my mom and she's very angry. Well, you're going to have to get away from angry people. You're going to have to, by hook or by crook. Change your name, change your number, leave town. Life is way too short. Because it's very disturbing to be in personal relationship with people that you can't trust. It's almost fucking impossible. And you matter. You matter in this world. So you're going to have to learn to set boundaries like a boss. If someone shows you they're angry and not doing the work, believe them. Don't hang around waiting for the next explosion. Set boundaries. Protect your nervous system. No more trauma loops. You're here to build a life that feels good and not one where you're always ducking emotional shrapnel. And I like the gaslight of it all. You know, I've been yelled at by people while I've been sober with other people present. And they'll say, I didn't yell at you. I didn't yell at you. And I'm like, oh my God, if this person is that delusional to not know when they're screaming and yelling at people, I can't be around it. The decision is made for me. It's not personal. It's business. I don't want to be around somebody who could just blow up over the most minor things at any time. Why would I want to do that? Like, you get to this point where it's like, I'm crazy if I'm going to be I'm in a relationship with somebody who's that fucking angry. I'm the one to blame. It's my fault if I hang out with angry people and eventually they steal from me or fuck me over. It's the nature of the angry person to fuck people over. They'll betray you. They'll hurt you. Like, how much clearer do I have to make it? But eventually, like, if you get away from it and, you know, they might say, but I'm your mother, but I'm your father, but I'm your spouse, I'm your husband. Yeah, and see, I will encourage people to heal. I will set little bitty boundaries. I will let people lie to me 3 times. I think that's generous. I will even let people gaslight me a little bit because I know it's really hard for them to come to the truth about some things. I'll even let people, I don't know, maybe even hurt me a little bit because you know what? I could take it. But at some point, to go ahead and set that boundary and I have to get away from them. It's nonsense. I mean, it's almost like, would you have a pet chimpanzee in your house and you just let that chimpanzee do whatever? I mean, it's almost like having a cat in your house and you don't have a litter box for your cat. So the cat is just shitting all over the house. Would you do that? No, that's what you're doing when you let an angry person in your life. If you let an angry person have control over you in some way, financial control or whatever, oh my God, you're going to have to get out from underneath that by any means necessary. And once you're away from that, then you can forgive by any means necessary. You know, this is not optional. This is life or death. You either forgive or you rot. And rot isn't poetic. It's slow, miserable, and smells like anxiety, autoimmune disease, and drama. You must overcome the ego's resistance to seeing the uncomfortable truths about the people who raised you, about the weak men who folded under pressure and pretended that avoidance was wisdom, about powerless women who enabled the chaos, denied the abuse, and taught you that suffering in silence was noble. If you want peace, you're going to have to slay some sacred cows. You may have to throw away the fantasy that your family is better than most. No, they're not. They're textbook. Get over it. We all grew up in the same dysfunctional sitcom, just with different theme music. You were never crazy. You were lied to, manipulated, gaslit, and now you get free. And so, Patrick, I hear this a lot, but Patrick, you don't understand. I live with my parents. My parents financially support me. My parents I can't get out from underneath them. Honey, that's a toxic relationship. Um, I know this is hard to hear because my parents wanted to financially support me so that they could keep control of me. You do not need your parents' financial support. You do not need any of that. Like my parents would send me $50 a week, and I was willing to put up with all sorts of bullshit because they sent me $50 a week. I told them uh, it started off, they would send me money when I first moved to Chicago, but over time it got down to $50 a week. And I would stay in contact with them because I needed that $50. My relationship with them had brought me to the very brink of financial disaster, which is what's going to happen to you if you're in a narcissistic family. You're going to go broke. So a therapist said, "Can't you get that money from somewhere else? Really? Can't you just get that money from somewhere else?" So a lot of toxic dysfunctional parents will make you financially dependent on them in some way or give you breadcrumbs or whatever, but by hook or by crook, you should have your own finances. You should be self-sufficient, or you should have figured that out. You should be able to operate without your parents' input, especially if you're an adult. Especially if your parents are still supporting you when you're an adult, you better be sick or disabled or have a very good reason. Or your parents are wealthy and they do it because they feel it necessary that they support their children. Otherwise, you should be on your own, or you should be with a spouse that provides for you and you have a role in the home. Like you really should not have much input from your parents as an adult at all. Your parents should be like homies. What's up? What's up? That's the healthiest way to be. Many people in our culture are not like that at all. Most families are dysfunctional in our culture. So getting out of this or getting sympathy for it or getting support for it will almost be impossible. Sick people love other sick people. You will find that other narcissistic families will run interference for other dysfunctional and narcissistic families. Normal equals insane. They think it's normal. It's not. So you have to forgive all that stuff. You have to get away from it and you have to forgive it. How do you do that? Get therapy with someone who actually understands trauma and not a pill pusher. Get support, real support, not trauma bonding with another victim who isn't doing the work. Get obsessed with the truth, like cult level obsessed. Let it light up every dark room. Let it torch every lie in your mind, especially the ones that say you're not worthy or you're too much. Bullshit, you're waking up. That's dangerous to the system, to the dysfunction. And yes, even to your own denial. You are not here to uphold illusions. You're here to see clearly, forgive ruthlessly, and walk away from anyone who lies to your face, no matter how familiar or familial they are. Because forgiveness isn't letting them off the hook. It's cutting the cord to a sinking ship you were never meant to die on. You were never meant to live this way. You were never meant to live in anger or fear or hatred or intolerance. You were meant to live in peace. And I don't know why this is often sometimes so hard to get through to people, but why don't you want the life that you want to live? Why don't you want the life that is best for you? Why do you continue to live life for other people? And I'm speaking to myself here too, and I'm speaking to anybody who's going to listen. Why do you do it? Why do you live for people at your job? Why do you live for people, other people? Other people are not going to live for you. They will not. They will not bear your burdens. They might give you advice, but they're not going to be in the trenches with you, living your life. You have to live with yourself. You have to look in the mirror every morning. You have to own up to the decisions you made. And if you have angry people in your life making it difficult for you to live in peace and harmony, it's hard to make a good decision for yourself when you're broke. It's hard to make a good decision for yourself when you live in chaos. I mean, it's hard to make a good decision for yourself when you're angry yourself. And if angry people are in your life making you angry, you're fucked. You're fucked. I'm sorry to break it to you, but you're fucked. If you have angry people in your life making you angry, something's got to give, bro. And broettes, something's got to give. What is it what is it that's finally going to give in you? Is it going to be a lost limb? Is it going to be a disease or an illness? Cheddar, come here, please. Please. What is it going to be? What's it going to be that's going to be the final thing that breaks you? Because that anger will eventually break. That anger will destroy you. Anger is expensive. It costs you money. It costs you time. It costs you resources. If you're an angry person, you almost have to be rich, because anger is a luxury. In this economy, it for sure is a luxury, isn't it, Cheddar? Here. Ow. He just wants to play. He's not really angry. He just wants to play. Don't you? Okay. I will play with you after I make this video. All right. Okay. There you go. But here's a final truth. I want to give you a final truth. All right. Anger is like a parasite. It feeds on your energy, your peace, your connection to spirit. You are not here to be a vessel of wrath. You are here to heal, create, and be free. You must find a way to forgive by any means necessary. So let it go, not because they deserve it, but because you do. Man, how do I convince you that you're worth forgiving other people? How do I convince you of that? I know that Merrick's family, or really any family that I've been involved in, if I'm helping a member of that family, they think I'm trying to turn them against their family. That's a crazy fucking thing. I remember I dated a guy in Chicago, and his mother said that I was turning him against her. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. He's waking up to who you are. He's waking up to things that you did to him. And instead of her being able to face this, she had him kidnapped. She had me arrested. She had us trailed when we tried to leave town. And eventually she got her wish. He got returned to her. And I'm thinking, all that trouble, all that pain, just over him realizing that his mother was crazy. And guess what her mother proved to him? That she was crazy. And so in the end, nobody won. I didn't win. He didn't win. And she certainly didn't win. She ended up in jail. She was like crazy. So no, I'm not trying to turn people against their parents. I'm not trying to turn my husband against his parents. If anything, I was the biggest champion for Merrick to stay connected with his family. I would force him to call them. And then I realized that I might be manipulated into doing that as well. I got pretty manipulated pretty hard, but I'm no longer angry. I'm no longer upset. I'm very grateful for all of those lessons that I learned. And here's the thing about angry people and unconscious people and alcoholic people. Unconscious, angry, alcoholic people do unconscious, angry, and alcoholic things. And even though you may have family members who are very, very angry, you have got to realize that they are a ticking time bomb. And if you have a precarious life, if you're going through financial trouble or anything like that, can you really afford to have a ticking time bomb in your life? It's not personal. It's business. That's it. And that's what I want you to feel about. Like the decision is made for you. The bridges are burned for you. Because I don't think it's out of the realm. I don't think it's out of the realm of sanity to say, I don't want people in my life who have the potential to screw things up for me or for my finances or for my health. Now, there is something beyond all of this. There is something beyond. So for you eagle-eyed, advanced spiritual people out there, you can say, well, Patrick, these two videos that you made, they lean into the problem. They make it real. And I would say, yes, but when you're down in it, it is very real. We can't bypass it. Once we no longer bypass it, then we can get to that step where it's all an illusion. But I'm going to implore people, Do not bypass this part. Do not skip this part. Eventually, when you go through this part, you will be able to develop presence. I might make a video about the presence engine, the engine that is in my head that generates presence whenever I want. I could do it now if I want to, but it's up to you. Do you really want to fight to have angry people in your life? Do you want to argue for your anger? Do you want to justify why you should be angry at stuff? No, of course not. It's time to forgive and let it go. For God's sakes, your life depends on it. Your life depends on it. Thank you for watching this video. If you would like to support the work we do, please like and subscribe, comment, or use an emoji. If you've got nothing to say, share this content with others. Join this channel, support the work we do, and get access to members-only videos and features. Also, don't forget our new book, The Machinations of Ego, is out right now. Get it, read it, wake the fuck up. Available at concreteshamans.com. And don't forget that we love you. Yes, we do.